What up, world? Established Rich coming right back at you. Let's get right into it. Boosie just accepted a federal plea deal in his 2023 gun case. The same Boosie who has been targeted, profiled, and followed for decades. The same Boosie who done already beat death row, beat cancer, beat murder charges, beat everything but the system that don't ever really let a black man go free. He announced it himself, not through TMZ, not through his lawyer. He posted it directly to his fans on X. And he said, quote, just accepted a plea from the government on my federal gun case. I thought this case was over and I was going to be able to get on with my life. But God don't make mistakes and I'm tired of fighting. And that last line hit home. I'm tired of fighting. Not I'm guilty, not I'm caught, just tired. If you've ever been black and successful in America, then you know exactly what that means. It means the system is not designed to let you breathe. Even when you think you beat it, here come another brick wall.
A prosecution that really dislikes me, bro. The first time I went to court, he looked at me and said, wipe me down. It's an old gray white man, bro. Like, I ain't even know he knew my song. I couldn't do nothing but, I was like, bro, like, personal. The dudes I was in a tank with, I had two Mexicans. They saw it. They was off, bro. They was like, man, they was mad, bro. Like, he surprised everybody that day, bro. He was emotional. I'm just glad that it's over. You know, I just thank God, thank my attorneys. Yeah. Just ready to go cross seas. I'm gonna take a vacation. I'll go.
It's going around that he's been recharged, and it sounds like the feds did decide to recharge him because the Ninth Circuit had vacated the Duarte decision.
Right. So the Ninth Circuit, after the dismissal, vacated the Duarte decision. They're going to hear it en banc in September. So I am frankly just shocked by the fact that the government decided to move forward with charges now, just given what's been going on and developing in Second Circuit case law around the country, including in the Ninth Circuit. They recalled the Duarte decision. They depublished it so that the entire Ninth Circuit, the court as a whole, can re-review it. I am not expecting a different decision. Circuits are in alignment with what the Ninth Circuit found. And I believe that ultimately the Supreme Court would be or will be in alignment when the issue comes before them, probably in the next year or so.
Now let me break it down for the people in the back.
This case started back in June of 2023. Boosie got stopped in San Diego, California, and they found 2 firearms in his vehicle. Now let me be clear. The state of California dropped those charges in 2024. Case closed on the state side. But the federal government, they said, nah, we still coming. Why? Because Boosie is a convicted felon. And under federal law, a felon is not allowed to possess a firearm. Period. No if, no context, no consideration. And see, right there is when you see the system is not built on common sense. A man riding in a car, no shooting, no threats, no violence. But because a firearm was present, federal offense. And that's a problem. We ain't talking about a shootout. We ain't talking about no robbery. This ain't no active crime scene. This is a black man who has been shot at, targeted, followed, and hated, choosing to protect himself in a country that refuses to protect him. Now, let's be honest. Everybody out there talking about he should have had security. He should have let his bodyguards handle that. Y'all don't live that life. Y'all ain't the ones with a $200,000 chain on and every eye on you when you walk in the room. You think security gonna be on point 24/7? You think a bodyguard is gonna notice a threat before you do? Famous people get killed by people they grew up with. People they let around him. So how you gonna tell a man he can't protect himself? Boosie been through it all. He knows the energy. He knows the signs. And if he sees something that security don't, he got every right to make that call. But according to federal law, he's not even allowed to be in control of his own safety. Think about that. If a man puts a gun in his hand to commit a crime, fine, that's different. But to simply possess one for protection when you're already a high value target and you've already served your time, something about that just don't make sense. And let's be real, this was a non-violent offense. Nobody was hurt, no intent to do harm. Yet he's facing the possibility of more prison time.
Why?
Because the system still sees Boosie as a foul, not a person. All they see is the word felon. And that word, it follows you forever. No matter how much you change, no matter how much you grow. And no, I'm not here to make excuses, but I am here to give some context. And context matters because the law is not supposed to be one size fits all. Every case has a story. And this story is not about a gun. It's about survival. It's about a black man who never stopped looking over his shoulder because danger don't care if your record's clean. Now here's another thing that bothered me. Soon as the news dropped, people started digging up Boosie's past, talking about, oh, he's been doing this and that for years. He finally got caught.
Wait a minute.
What we're not going to do is play internet detective and try to use the past to justify the present. He took a plea, not a confession to every crime you think he committed. And if we're going to talk facts, Talk about how many cases he beat fairly. Talk about how the state dropped the charges. Talk about how the feds came in afterwards. We know the government gonna do what the government does. They don't like losing. And when they feel like they took a L once, we know they come back harder. We all seen it happen. Now, the terms of his plea deal have not been made public. We don't know if he's facing a short bid or a long one. But what we do know is that he made a decision after speaking with his family. And he said, quote, "This is the right decision." And sometimes that's all you need to hear. Not everything needs to be a fight to the death. Not every battle needs to be won to claim victory. Sometimes the greatest win is preservation. Now, to be fair, it's a larger issue here. Why do felons in America lose their right to defend themselves even after they've done their time? We're talking about non-violent offenders who paid their debt. They pay taxes, they raise families, they start businesses, but they can't own a firearm. It does not make any sense. Everybody wants to talk about the Second Amendment until it's a black man exercising it. Then it's criminal. Then it's dangerous. But when a white man gets out of prison and moves to his ranch, starts a gun collection, nobody bats an eye. So we're going to have to be real about the double standards here. We're going to have to be real about what rehabilitation really means. If a man can never get his rights back, then he's never really free. And for people saying he should have never been in that situation, you know life don't work like that. When you come from where Boosie come from, trouble find you even when you hiding from it. Sometimes just walking in the corner store can go left. Sometimes it's your own people who put you in a bad situation. So miss me with that he should have done this or should have done that mentality. Because half the people judging him couldn't last a minute in his shoes. Now, I'm not saying he's above the law. What I'm saying is the law needs to evolve. It needs to look at circumstances. It needs to understand context. It needs to stop assuming that a man who made mistakes can never change. Boosie ain't no threat to society. He's a reflection of it. He's what happens when you survive the worst, but still gotta protect yourself to stay alive. He's what happens when you do everything right and still get knocked for the one thing you did wrong. And I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I respect his decision because sometimes putting your family first means sitting down instead of swinging back. Sometimes the fight is not worth your peace. And if Boosie said he's tired, I believe him because this system will wear you out. So while the world points fingers, I'm gonna have Boosie back. Not because he's perfect, but because he's honest. And in a world full of fakes, that still means something to me. Go get Boosie's new album, Words of a Real One. Like, comment, subscribe, establish rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.